Of all the sharks in the sea, none are more capable of terrifying humans than the great white shark. With a mouth lined with hundreds of dagger-like teeth, they have a rather fearsome reputation, and they can and will back it up. Finding yourself face-to-face with the monster of the deep seems like it could only happen in one's worst nightmare, but these accidental meet and greets proved it can happen. Not only that, but it scared the shit out of those directly involved, and it'd do the same to you. Without wasting any more time, here's our top 9 great white shark encounters that'll terrify you to no end, with number 1 haunting your dreams tonight. Let's get into it. Number 9. Johan and fellow freedivers Francois, Renee, and Eric went spearfishing at Arniston, Cape Town, South Africa in 2015 when they met the unexpected. Johan, Francois, and Eric jumped into the murky waters with spear guns in hand and a GoPro fastened to their heads. Once at the bottom, Johan began looking around, only to find himself surprised by a curious and aggressive great white shark less than an arm's length away. The shark went into attack mode, circling back for another round. Luckily, Johan was able to use his spear gun to ward off the repeated attempts by the hungry sea champion, all while racing to the surface to signal the boat. He kept shouting, "White!" as we can all see in the video, and repeatedly called for his friends.
White! White!
They were able to get everyone out quickly and unharmed. The crew had a good laugh and breathed a huge sigh of relief after that near miss. Lucky is really an understatement here. Number 8. This YouTuber excited millions in 2016 when he uploaded a video with the title "Man Fights Off Shark at Sydney Harbor." Since that's a popular spot, it got people talking. The video starts with the diver strapping on a GoPro and maneuvering into position on the other side of the fence, getting ready to jump off the cliff. And when he does, he jumps right into the view of a shark. Once he resurfaces, you can hear his friend on dry land shouting "Shark!" and pointing out its position to him.
Shark! Shark!
He starts to look in the direction his friend is pointing when the shark suddenly appears and comes in close for a look, giving him the shock of his life. While swimming frantically for the safety of the rocks, the great white shark makes a second pass at closer range, but the diver manages to thwart its efforts by kicking and swiping at it, giving him just enough time to reach the safety of land. The video's authenticity's been debated, but we're no experts to know if it was doctored or not. What we do know is that experts say there's a 20% chance of seeing a shark close to the Manly Cliff where our diver hopped into the water from. So that probability gives the video all the credibility it needs. Number 7. Joe Petrovich was out on another fishing expedition in Australian waters with some friends. Equipped with a spear gun, Joe dove down to search for fish, not realizing that the gun would practically save his life. After straying some 300 meters away from the boat in pursuit of some pink snappers, Joe wound up crossing paths with a great white shark. Even if you've dived in the ocean 1,000 times, your heart will always jump into your mouth the moment you see a shark. The large predator was checking out Joe's position and planning what angle to attack from, but Joe was ready for it. With his spear gun, he jabbed the shark in the head as it lunged towards him, trying to take a bite. With the first attempt unsuccessful, the shark circled and came in for round 2. But Joe was not ready to give up on living and managed to fight it off again. The great white withdrew and circled him several times, trying to find a way in. Finally, the shark leaves Joe alone and he escapes back to the safety of the boat. Number 6. Divers in shark diving cages were hoping to film a great expedition of sharks in the Guadalupe Island waters of Mexico. However, they filmed not just the sleek appearance of a great white shark, but also the moment one of them almost became shark bait. A large shark aggressively came in close to the cages when it suddenly switched directions and smashed hard into the bars of one of the cages. It sat there staring at the diver for a few moments as if to say, "You're lucky I can't get in there." According to the diver, who recounts later on, he could have wound up in harm's way if the shark charged from another angle. The cage had wide openings all around, big enough that a forceful strike like that could have caused some damage. However, the presence of the latter stopped the beast from sticking its nose inside as it intended and must have rudely shocked it, causing it to turn around and disappear into the depths of the Guadalupe Island water. Number 5. This diver felt immense joy after dissuading a shark from preying on him. Grayson Shepard and a few friends were collecting lionfish at various sites around the Gulf southwest of St. George Island, Florida. Grayson plunged into the water for his third and final solo dive, spearing lionfish and a few other fish around a man-made structure at a depth of 93 feet. He was wrapping things up and heading to the surface to perform his safety stop when a great white shark caught his eye. The shark had already passed by him, and Grayson knew a second round was coming. He recocked his spear gun and scanned the murky waters as he ascended, stopping 15 feet from the surface to begin his safety stop. Then the shark enters his field of view again, headed straight for him. Grayson stood his ground so as to not trigger the predator-prey instinct and aimed his spear gun at the shark, ready to fend it off. Lucky for him, the great white turned, giving him a full view of its staggering length before disappearing back into the murky waters. Grayson decided to give up on the last few minutes of his safety stop and jump back on the boat, thinking it was best not to have a third encounter with this beast. Number 4. Once again, murky waters pose great risk. These divers were in search of abalones in the deep waters, filming as they went along when the unexpected happened. The waters were so murky it was difficult to see the approaching great white until it was too late. Lucky for this diver, the shark just grazed the back of his head in a drive-by, likely just curious to see what this neoprene-wrapped creature actually was. The diver had no idea what just hit him, but once he figured out what happened, I bet he felt grateful for only getting a tap on the head by this large shark and nothing more. Number 3. Divers off the coast of Tofo, Mozambique were filming their adventure under the clear blue sea when one of them noticed a great white shark approach and start to circle them. They watched the shark calmly glide around them and come in close to a few of the divers. The shark was relaxed and uninterested in eating them, seemingly curious about what they were instead. The divers remained calm as well and observed the spectacular event unfolding before them before the shark moved on its way. The divers claimed it was the dive of their lives, and they only have the universe to thank that curiosity was this shark's main motive. Because if it really wanted to, the shark could have taken a taste of the strange two-legged fish it had never seen before. Number 2. Brandon and his crew are dedicated to filming sharks. On this particular expedition, they went directly into a shark danger zone with a plexiglass front on one of the cages to test if sharks can sense vulnerability. Brandon hopped into the cage and down he went into the water. And before you know it, he's surrounded by great whites. Brandon is safe in the cage, but that fact only annoys the sharks. One 18-foot-long approaches the cage repeatedly, getting braver and braver as time goes on, before finally attacking the float attached to the cage. The attack on the float tank spells unthinkable danger for Brandon, but pulling him out now would be just as dangerous. Eventually, the sharks let up enough for Brandon to escape. Number 1. This diver was so engrossed in spearfishing in the ocean that he didn't see a shark approaching him. The diver's vision is not very clear in the greenish, murky waters, and he's seemingly distracted with his work when he's suddenly yanked from behind, losing one of his fins to a shark that bit and pulled it off. It's then the diver realizes it's a great white and panics. He rushes down to grab his spear gun, his only weapon, and rights himself just as the shark launches a second attack, but the diver manages to fend it off. The beast comes round again and shoots its shot once more, but this time the diver stabs it with his spear gun, deterring its attack and sending the shark back into the murky abyss. Our diver continues swimming a long distance before he finds his peers, and lucky for him, he gets to live and narrate his ordeal. One fin less. I don't know about you, but these terrifying encounters have me second-guessing stepping into the ocean, let alone diving in the areas these people were in. I wouldn't pay any amount in the world to ever be in their shoes. Would you? We'll catch you later.